Listen up, I just spent 6 months and over $3,000 putting tactical gear through absolute hell. I'm talking desert heat, freezing rain, intentional drops from 10 feet high, and real-world field testing that would make manufacturers cry. Here's the brutal truth. Most tactical gear is overpriced junk that'll fail exactly when you need it most. But some of this stuff is legitimately life-saving engineering that'll outlast you and your grandkids. Stay with me for the next 10 minutes because I'm revealing the 15 pieces of gear that actually earned their spot. No sponsorships, no affiliate garbage, just honest breakdowns of what works, what doesn't, and what might genuinely keep you alive. We're starting with illumination, because if you can't see the threat, nothing else matters. Let's go. Surefire Scout Pro. You're moving through a structure at 2 in the morning. Pitch black. Your partner's 30 feet ahead. Then you hear something behind you. This is where cheap lights get people hurt. The Surefire Scout Pro isn't just bright. It's strategically designed to give you complete situational awareness before threats close the distance. The current generation delivers 600 lumens with the standard model, or up to 1,500 lumens on the ultra-high output version. That concentrated beam reaches out effectively to identify threats at distance, while the total internal reflection lens system provides enough spill for peripheral awareness. Here's what separated this from everything else I tested. After mounting it to a rifle and running through 200 rounds of rapid fire, the beam pattern didn't shift even slightly. The internal lens system is so precisely engineered that recoil just doesn't matter. I've seen $40 lights completely lose zero after 50 rounds. The aerospace-grade aluminum housing with military-spec hard anodizing means you can actually use this as an impact tool in emergencies. Drop it from a vehicle, it keeps working. Get it soaked crossing a river, zero issues. The runtime varies by output level, approximately 75 minutes on high with the 600 lumen model, or about 1.5 hours on lower settings. Quick activation is everything in tactical situations, and the tail cap switch responds instantly with zero delay. Optional tape switches are available for certain rail positions. For professionals who can't afford equipment failure, this light has proven itself across 2 decades of military deployment worldwide. Viridian C-Series Laser Light. Now let's talk about something that genuinely changed my perspective on pistol lights. Most weapon lights require you to fumble for buttons while your heart's pounding and your hands are shaking. Not ideal when someone's breaking down your door at 3 a.m. The Viridian C-Series uses instant-on technology that I initially thought was gimmicky marketing. Then, I actually trained with it for a month. The second your pistol leaves the holster, the light and laser automatically activate. When you reholster, they shut off. No buttons, no switches, no forgetting to turn it on when adrenaline dumps into your system. The practical advantage here is noticeable in training environments. The automatic activation removes one variable from your response sequence, though claiming specific time advantages depends heavily on individual skill level and holster setup. The real benefit is consistency. It activates the same way every single time without requiring conscious thought. You get your choice of red or green laser. And honestly, green is worth the extra cost because it's dramatically more visible in bright conditions. The tactical light output is typically around 100 to 190 lumens depending on the specific C-Series model, which isn't as powerful as dedicated weapon lights, but it's more than sufficient for indoor distances where pistols actually get used. The newer models with rechargeable batteries include charging docks and can be topped off regularly. Just make sure your holster is specifically designed for this system, because the activation sensor needs proper clearance and positioning to function reliably. The ECR, Enhanced Combat Readiness, Instant On feature requires holsters with the correct cut and sensor compatibility. Nightcore NWL-30 Work Light. Here's something completely different that earned its place through sheer versatility. The Nightcore NWL-30 delivers up to 3,000 lumens on maximum output, making it an incredibly powerful work light that doubles as a mosquito repeller and a power bank. Yeah, I was skeptical too until I took it on a week-long backcountry trip. Traditional flashlights give you a focused beam, which is great for navigation but terrible for setting up camp or working on equipment after dark. This thing floods an entire area with adjustable light that you can tune for color temperature. Warmer light for relaxing around camp, cooler light for detailed work. The magnetic base means you can stick it to your vehicle, weapon locker, or any metal surface and aim it exactly where you need. The 360-degree rotation joint locks into position without creeping, which sounds basic until you've dealt with lights that slowly tilt down while you're trying to work. Here's the mosquito repeller feature. It uses ultrasonic frequencies intended to deter insects. Results vary significantly based on mosquito species and environmental conditions. situations. I tested this in some genuinely bug-infested areas and noticed some reduction in insects around the immediate light perimeter, though it's not a replacement for proper insect repellent in high-density bug environments. The 10,000 mAh battery provides variable runtime depending on output level, over 130 hours on the lowest setting, or approximately 2 to 3 hours on maximum output. You can charge your phone or GPS off it while the light's running. For base camp operations or vehicle-based setups, this light solved problems I didn't even know I had. SOG Escape 2.0. Emergency knives live in a weird category where they need to cut effectively, but also perform specialized rescue functions without adding bulk. The SOG Escape 2.0 nails this balance in ways that surprised me. The 3.4-inch clip point blade uses AUS 8 stainless steel, which isn't premium exotic metal, but it holds an edge well enough for everything except sustained batoning. Where this knife distinguishes itself is the integrated rescue tool set. You've got a dedicated seatbelt cutter positioned exactly where your thumb naturally rests. During testing, I could cut through a seatbelt in under 2 seconds without repositioning my grip. The glass breaker on the pommel generates enough focused impact to shatter tempered automotive glass on the first strike, which I validated on a junkyard window. The assisted opening mechanism deploys the blade fast enough that it's almost intimidating the first few times you use it. There's a learning curve to avoid accidentally triggering it in your pocket, but once you develop the muscle memory, it becomes second nature. Here's what I appreciate. SOG included a small wire stripper in the handle, which seems random until you're dealing with electrical emergencies or field repairs. The partially serrated edge handles rope and webbing way more efficiently than a plain edge would. Current retail pricing typically ranges from $45 to $65 depending on the retailer, which means this knife punches well above its price point. The build quality isn't heirloom grade, but it doesn't need to be. This is a tool you keep in your vehicle, in your emergency kit, or on your person specifically for crisis situations where specialized features matter more than premium materials. Nextorch Pioneer MT20. Multi-tools have a reputation problem. Most are either too bulky to actually carry or too weak to handle real tasks. The Nextorch Pioneer MT20 exists specifically for first responders and emergency situations, which means it skips all the useless novelty tools and focuses on what actually saves lives. This is a 14-in-1 rescue tool that prioritizes speed and reliability under pressure. The full-size spring-loaded rescue shears are the standout feature. These aren't wimpy scissors. They're legitimate medical shears that cut through leather, denim, heavy fabric, and even thin metal without hesitation. I put them through a stress test, cutting various materials, and they stayed sharp through everything. The oxygen cylinder wrench is one of those tools you hope you never need. But if you work in emergency services or remote locations, having immediate access could be the difference between life and death. Same with the plastic handcuff cutter, which law enforcement and security professionals will immediately recognize as essential. The replaceable wire cutters address the biggest weakness of traditional multi-tools. Once the cutter's dull, the entire tool becomes less useful. Here, you swap in fresh cutters and keep going. The pliers provide enough leverage for real work, and the grip texture ensures you maintain control even with wet or bloody hands. The MT20 is constructed from 20 CR13 and 30 CR13 stainless steel with a stone-washed finish for durability and corrosion resistance. Yes, it's heavier and bulkier than your average pocket multi-tool, weighing approximately 9 to 10 ounces. That's the trade-off for legitimate capability. This isn't for everyday carry unless your everyday involves potential emergency response. For first responders, search and rescue personnel, or anyone who takes emergency preparedness seriously, this tool justifies every ounce of its weight. Gerber Downrange Tomahawk. The Gerber Downrange isn't a knife. It's a compact breaching tomahawk built from 420HC high-carbon stainless steel that's designed to absorb punishment. At approximately 8.75 inches overall with a 4-inch cutting edge, it's small enough to carry without being awkward, but heavy enough to generate serious striking force. The blade edge arrives sharp enough to bite into wood with minimal effort. The opposing 3-inch spike is the real tactical advantage here, capable of punching through barriers, car windows, or other obstacles with concentrated impact. I tested this on various materials, and the penetration power is genuinely impressive for something this compact. The black oxide finish serves two purposes. It reduces glare for tactical situations, and it provides corrosion resistance for extended field use. The G10 handle scales maintain grip, even when wet or if you're wearing gloves, which matters because you absolutely do not want this slipping during use. Here's the practical reality. This is a specialized tool for specific scenarios: breaching doors, emergency vehicle extrication, creating access points, or defensive situations where impact weapons are appropriate. It's not a camping hatchet, though it could function as one in a pinch. Current pricing typically ranges from $80 to $110 depending on availability and retailer, placing it in an interesting niche between tactical tools and practical implements. If your operational requirements include potential breaching or you want a compact impact tool for vehicle emergencies, the downrange delivers reliable performance. Condor Orion Assault Pack backpacks are boring until you're 10 miles from civilization and your gear's poorly distributed, digging into your shoulders and making you miserable. The Condor Orion Assault Pack offers approximately 50 liters of total carrying capacity when you include both the main pack and the detachable section. What separates this from generic backpacks is the detachable outer compartment that converts into its own standalone assault pack. Here's why that matters. You can move heavy with your full loadout, establish a base position, then grab the smaller detachable section and move fast for reconnaissance or rapid response. I tested this during a 4-day backcountry trip, and the ability to cache heavy gear while maintaining mobility changed how I approached terrain. The main compartment combined with the detachable section swallows a significant amount of equipment. I packed 4 days of food, shelter, water filtration, a complete medical kit, spare clothing, and still had room for mission-specific equipment. The internal tie-down straps prevent gear from shifting around, which eliminates that annoying rattle and movement during travel. The padded shoulder harness and ventilated back panel genuinely reduce fatigue during extended movement. I've used cheaper packs where the shoulder straps cut into you after an hour. The system distributes weight effectively enough that I covered 12 miles in 1 day without significant discomfort. Fair warning, fully loaded, this pack is heavy. That substantial capacity means you can easily exceed 40 to 50 pounds of gear, which isn't for casual day hikes. This is purpose-built for multi-day operations, extended emergency situations, or scenarios where you need to be self-sufficient for 72 hours or more. The hydration compatibility requires you to supply your own bladder, which seems like an odd omission at this price point, but it allows you to choose your preferred hydration system, rather than being locked into a proprietary design. Premier Body Armor 360. Let's address something uncomfortable. There are situations where discreet protection becomes necessary, but traditional body armor makes you look like you're about to raid a building. The Premier Body Armor 360 system solves this through engineering rather than wishful thinking. This is a compression fit shirt with integrated channels for Level 3 A soft armor panels that remains genuinely concealed under regular clothing. I tested this by wearing it under normal shirts in various situations, and people genuinely couldn't tell I was wearing armor. The compression fit keeps the panels stable against your body without shifting, sagging, or creating obvious outlines. Traditional plate carriers create a distinctive silhouette. This doesn't. The real innovation is the wraparound protection. Most concealed armor only covers your front, maybe your back if you're lucky. This system protects your torso, including the sides, which is where a lot of real-world threats come from. The complete system weight varies by size and specific panel configuration, but typically ranges from 3.5 to 5 pounds for the carrier and 2 soft armor panels, which is reasonable for this level of protection worn all day. Level 3 A protection stops most handgun rounds, including high-velocity threats up to 44 Magnum, which covers the overwhelming majority of real-world civilian danger scenarios. This isn't rifle-rated armor, so understand the limitations before you make decisions about when to wear it. The comfort factor surprised me. I wore this for 8 hours straight during testing. And while you're definitely aware you're wearing armor, it's not restrictive or exhausting like traditional vests. The breathable compression fabric manages moisture reasonably well, though you'll still run hotter than without it. For professionals who need discreet protection, journalists in unstable areas, or anyone facing credible threats who can't wear obvious armor, this system provides legitimate ballistic protection without advertising your preparation. Tolster Arc Holster. Holsters are deeply personal equipment where small design differences create major practical impacts. The Tolster Arc series earned its reputation by focusing specifically on modern micro-compact pistols with weapon lights, which is a combination that most holster manufacturers completely ignore. If you've tried to find a quality holster for a light-equipped subcompact, you know the struggle. The single-piece Kydex construction, typically 0.080-inch thickness, provides consistent retention that doesn't loosen over time. After hundreds of draws during testing, The retention remained exactly where I set it initially. Cheaper holsters develop slop. This doesn't. The adjustable ride height combined with the Flex Mod system lets you contour the holster to your specific body shape. This matters way more than people realize, because everyone's hip angle and torso shape is different. The ability to fine-tune the fit eliminates the discomfort that makes people stop carrying. The concealment wing is the feature that separates adequate holsters from excellent ones. It uses your belt pressure to rotate the grip of the pistol closer to your body, which dramatically reduces printing under clothing. During testing, I could conceal a light-equipped pistol under just a t-shirt without obvious outlines. The tuckable clips allow you to tuck your shirt over the holster while maintaining access, which is essential for professional environments where you can't openly carry. The foam wedge option further improves comfort for extended wear. Current pricing for the ARC series typically ranges from $75 to $95, depending on the specific model and option selected. For anyone carrying a modern micro-compact with a light attachment, the ARC series delivers the precision fit and retention that duty-grade equipment requires. Titan Survival Taco Mini Fire. Kit fire is life in survival situations. Warmth, water purification, signaling, cooking, morale. Without reliable fire starting, your survival timeline compresses dramatically. The Titan Survival Taco Mini packs complete fire starting capability into a package smaller than a deck of cards. What makes this kit genuinely useful is the thoughtful component selection rather than gimmicky novelty items. The magnesium block with integrated ferro rod provides thousands of strikes before depletion. During testing, I started fires in wind, rain, and after deliberately soaking the kit to simulate worst-case conditions. It performed consistently every time. Magnesium shavings ignite at approximately 450 to 470 degrees Celsius, which makes them extremely effective for catching even damp tinder. The Titan Cirrus Strike ceramic scraper is sharper than most people expect. Beyond striking sparks, you can use the toothed edge to process tinder, or even sharpen a blade in emergencies. The ceramic construction means it won't rust or corrode regardless of environmental exposure. The tinder tabs included are designed to ignite easily and burn hot, providing enough sustained flame to get a fire established even with marginally damp materials. I've started fires with damp wood using these tabs that would have been nearly impossible with just sparks alone. The waxed canvas pouch protects everything from moisture while remaining compact enough to fit in a pocket, glove box, or attached to your pack. At typical retail prices around $20 to $30, this kit provides legitimate fire-starting capability without expensive exotic materials or complicated techniques. For anyone who spends time outdoors, maintains emergency kits, or takes preparedness seriously, reliable fire starting is non-negotiable. This kit delivers without requiring you to be a survival expert. North American Rescue MFAK Mini First Aid Kit. Here's uncomfortable truth. The gear that might actually save your life isn't a weapon, it's a well-designed trauma kit. The North American Rescue Mini First Aid Kit represents a fundamental shift in how emergency medical gear is organized. This isn't a collection of Band-Aids and aspirin. It's a comprehensive trauma response system compressed into something barely larger than your fist. The pull-handle deployment system is the innovation that matters most. When someone's bleeding out and you've got seconds to respond, digging through a cluttered pouch wastes critical time. Pull the handle, and the kit deploys its contents in logical order. Tourniquet, hemostatic gauze, chest seals, gloves, and other trauma essentials. I ran through deployment drills repeatedly, and the structured layout consistently saved time compared to traditional medical pouches. The organized deployment system reduces fumbling and helps maintain focus during high-stress medical emergencies. The contents are carefully selected for high-threat bleeding control rather than minor injuries. The tourniquet is typically a CAT, Combat Application Tourniquet, or similar approved device. The hemostatic gauze promotes rapid clotting for wounds where tourniquets aren't applicable. Vented chest seals address penetrating thoracic injuries. These are the tools that matter when someone might not survive the ambulance ride. The mounting system works with MOLLE webbing or belts, and you can orient it vertically or horizontally depending on your setup preferences. The compact profile means it doesn't interfere with movement or catch on obstacles. The trade-off is capacity. You won't fit trauma shears, extra dressings, or supplementary equipment. This is purpose-built for immediate life-threatening injuries, not comprehensive medical response. For that role, it's exceptional. Sanjin MMR-99. Emergency radio communication and information become critical during emergencies when normal infrastructure fails. The Sanjin MMR-99 is designed specifically for disaster scenarios where you need weather updates, emergency broadcasts, and situational awareness without relying on grid power. The triple power system using solar, hand crank, and USB ensures you maintain access regardless of circumstances. During testing, I deliberately depleted the battery completely, then used only the hand crank to restore functionality. Approximately 90 seconds of cranking provides roughly 10 to 15 minutes of radio reception, which is reasonable considering you're generating power manually. The solar panel works effectively in direct sunlight, though it's slow charging in overcast conditions. The 7 NOAA weather channels with automatic public alerts proved genuinely useful during a severe weather event. The radio automatically interrupted regular programming to broadcast tornado warnings with specific information about affected areas and recommended actions. That capability could absolutely prevent injury or death. The integrated LED flashlight includes SOS and emergency signaling modes, which seems gimmicky until you consider that rescue personnel actively look for these specific patterns. The red light mode preserves night vision while providing enough illumination for immediate tasks. The IP55 rating means protection against dust ingress and water jets from any direction, but not full submersion. I wouldn't submerge this, but rain and splash exposure caused zero issues during testing. The rugged housing survived multiple drops onto concrete without damage. The Bluetooth audio capability and AUX input seem like luxury features until you realize that morale matters during extended emergencies. The ability to play music or entertainment can significantly impact mental state during stressful situations. At typical retail pricing around $50 to $75, this radio provides comprehensive emergency communication capability with redundant power systems. For disaster preparedness, vehicle emergency kits, or remote locations, it's essential equipment. Aimpoint Duty RDS MR reflex sights are everywhere now, but most are designed for range use rather than professional duty applications. The Aimpoint Duty RDS MR is purpose-built for law enforcement and tactical professionals who need absolute reliability. What separates this from consumer-grade optics is the multi-reticle system with 3 selectable options: a precise 2 MOA dot, a fast 65 MOA circle, or both combined. This flexibility matters because engagement requirements change dramatically based on distance and situation. Close quarters favor the large circle for speed, precision shots need the dot, and having both provides reference points that work across the entire realistic engagement envelope. The battery life on Aimpoint optics is legendary, with the Duty RDS series offering up to 30,000 hours, approximately 3.4 years, of continuous operation at medium brightness settings on a single CR2032 battery. You never need to remember to turn it on. It's always ready. The motion activation feature powers the optic up from sleep mode the instant you touch the weapon. The controls are deliberately simple with tactile push buttons that work with gloves and don't shift accidentally during movement. 8 daylight brightness settings plus 4 night vision compatible settings cover every operational lighting condition. At approximately 3.8 ounces, this optic doesn't significantly impact weapon balance or handling. The flush-mounted design prevents snags on clothing or equipment during dynamic movement. The Aimpoint Duty RDS typically retails in the $700 to $900 range, which is expensive until you calculate the cost of unreliable equipment during critical incidents. For professionals who depend on their equipment, the Duty RDS MR justifies its cost through proven reliability backed by Aimpoint's reputation in military and law enforcement applications. Lecom Nightcore Power Bank. Rugged tactical power banks with substantial capacity bring fast charging capability in packages genuinely built for tactical use rather than just marketed that way. Full IP67 rating means protection against complete dust ingress and immersion in water up to 1 meter for 30 minutes, which I validated by literally submerging a similar unit in a stream for 30 minutes with zero damage. Military spec drop protection survives repeated impacts from reasonable heights onto concrete during testing. Silicone armor and reinforced chassis absorb impacts that would destroy typical consumer power banks. This is equipment you can actually carry in the field without worrying about environmental exposure. Some tactical power bank models feature integrated tripod mounts on the base, which allows you to attach lights, cameras, or sensors to create modular power systems. During multi-day testing, I use this concept as a central charging station for multiple devices while simultaneously powering area lighting. Smart charging circuitry prevents overcharge, manages thermal issues, and protects against short circuits. I've seen cheaper power banks overheat during fast charging. Quality tactical models maintain safe operating temperatures consistently. USB-C power delivery on modern tactical power banks provides sufficient wattage to charge tablets and some small laptops, not just phones. For extended operations or emergency situations where multiple devices need power, having a rugged, high-capacity bank becomes essential rather than optional. Quality tactical power banks with IP67 ratings and high capacity typically range from $60 to $100, which costs more than consumer alternatives, but the environmental protection and durability justify the investment for anyone who operates in challenging conditions. All right, let's bring this together. We've covered 14 pieces of tactical gear across 5 critical categories. These aren't random products, they're carefully selected tools that performed consistently during months of real-world testing in conditions that would break inferior equipment. Here's what you need to understand. Tactical gear exists on a spectrum. At one end, you've got overpriced mall ninja garbage that looks impressive but fails when it matters. At the other end, you've got purpose-built professional equipment that costs more but delivers reliable performance when your life might depend on it. Everything I showed you today falls into that second category. Some of it's expensive, yes, but the cost reflects engineering, materials, and proven reliability rather than just marketing. If you're building an emergency kit, focus first on lighting, fire starting, and medical capabilities. Those 3 categories will address the most common survival scenarios. From there, add cutting tools, carry systems, and specialized equipment based on your specific operational requirements or environmental challenges. Drop a comment right now telling me which piece of gear you're adding to your kit first. I read every comment, and I genuinely want to know what resonates with your situation. If you found this valuable, hit that subscribe button because I test and review tactical gear every single week. No sponsorships, no affiliate pressure, just honest assessments of what actually works. Check the description below for links to everything we covered today. I've organized them by category so you can find exactly what you're looking for without scrolling through 40 products.